Hello, good evening, guys. Please, if you can hear me, kindly drop on the comment section if you can hear me. Good evening, guys. Oh, great. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, so we are here now and we are live. I can see 34 people in. So if you're in now, you're among those that join in pretty early. So can I see your favorite emoji right there on the comment section? If you're live now and you're ready, I'm full of energy right now. So if you're there and you're full of energy, let me see your favorite emoji on the comment section. So we'll be having the first webinar this evening. I know we are all ready. We've been getting messages from you guys. I think some persons even thought that we're starting yesterday, and all of that. So we know you're very energetic. We know you are ready and you're just wondering, what are they going to say today? What are they going to do today? So we have amazing people in our midst. And just as we said the other day, these people have taken out so much of their time to prepare to meet with you today. They are also going to meet with you tomorrow. They will meet with you on Wednesday, and they will also meet with you on Thursday. And all of this session, just as we said before on during the onboarding session, you've got to make out time to attend. So if your time zone is not Nigerian time, maybe you're 2 hours behind, you're 1 hour behind, maybe 5 hours behind, all fine. Just try to make out time, all right? So the similarities we have right now is time. And so we'll just try to compromise that. Great. So in less than 5 minutes, we'll be having the first speaker come up to give us a session about software test engineering. And I tell you, it's going to be amazing. Like, oh my, it's going to be amazing. So basically, everything we are doing on this program is designed to cater for people that have zero knowledge in tech. Okay, so don't be scared. You didn't study computer sciences, or you're a student and you are not studying computer science. I've seen lawyers being software test engineers. I've seen doctors, doing well as software test engineers. So it doesn't matter what you studied. What matters now is if your passion is here, you give it time, and there is no limit to how far you can go. There's so much to explore. There's so much opportunity. And just as Princess Ibirunke said the other time, the tech world has come to stay, right? It's not going to go out of fashion anytime soon. It has come to stay. Virtually everything we do, emergency situations like the pandemic, the only guys that were pretty much active were guys in IT, guys in tech. And while some companies were packing up, tech companies were just going up high there. So if you are in for this, give it your time. Now, what you're supposed to be doing right now is you're supposed to have a notepad and a pen. All right. Now, I understand this is not like a live session where I can be seeing you now in the classroom and I'll just move around and say, hey, maybe Folarin Kazim, where's your pen? But now you've got to police yourself now. So if you don't have a pen, you don't have a notepad or a book dedicated for this program, I want to advise you now, reach out, pick up a pen, pick up a jotter, whatever. But by tomorrow, make sure you get an exercise book or a notepad dedicated for CS Launchpad. All right, because you need to see yourself the first day, you need to see what happened the second day documented in your own language. It's going to help you so much. So if you don't have that now, reach out and get one for yourself. So right about now, we have 74 persons. We're actually expecting at least 500 persons today from the number of persons that are on Slack at the moment. So if you have a friend, probably they are trying to access a Zoom link or they are trying to access a Google Meet link, okay? Just try to let them know that it's happening right here on this YouTube channel. So if you know a friend that is supposed to be here, share the link to them. They should come online now because we won't be repeating this onboarding session. And the beautiful thing about it is this: you have the opportunity to speak with people who have made success. It's not like the regular teacher in your college. I went to a school where most of the things the lecturers were saying, they don't have the result. They just teach the theory, they don't even have the results. So sometimes it's difficult for me to believe something they say because I feel if it's really that way, they would have gone to do it. But the people that will be coming live here, you a blueprint, they have a history of success in their career. So we are bringing them here. So what you'll be listening to is probably 3, 4, 5 years of experience in that particular IT field, maybe like in software testing or in front end development. So they are going to gather all this experience and give you in 30 minutes. So you see every single minute out of the 30-minute counts. Every single minute counts. Imagine something that I've been doing for the past 5 years, and I'm now coming on a live session, and I want to give it to you in 30 minutes. So every minute counts. You have to pay attention. Avoid all distraction. One of the challenges with lectures online like this is distraction. You could have someone walk into where you are, and someone can call you. You just have to be disciplined. Just make up your mind that you are going to be disciplined, and be disciplined with it. Sit down right there, your pen, your notepad, your gadget. If you're joining us from a mobile phone or you're joining in from a laptop, whatever it is you're accessing us from, just stay right there. Make sure you have your pen, you have your notepad, and avoid distraction. You can use a headphone or a headpiece. It helps you to to avoid distraction. All right. So welcome, guys. Welcome everyone on board. I can have 89 views. All right. 89, 89, 89 views. That's great. We were expecting 500 people, 500 participants, 500, at least 500 participants from those who have joined Slack. But as a total, we have over 1,000 people who were given this opportunity. So just stay put, stay right there. We are just trying to put up everything. We'll soon have the first speaker come on board. All right, you can share the link. You have a friend who is on Slack or who have registered and is not currently here right now. You can share the link to the person right now. I'm not asking you to send the link to someone who, who is not supposed to be here, is of no use already. So only those that are supposed to be here, and that they have not received the link or they are not aware that we are doing this from this channel right now, send the link out and let them join in. So in the next 2 minutes, we'll be having Princess Ibirunke Yekini. She's a test manager. Okay, so what that means is that she's of the software testing career. So you are going to get first-hand information this evening. Please, those that are supposed to go to church, or you're supposed to pray by 7, just see how you can balance up everything and create time. We recognize that, but just as I told you the other time, our time is not just restricted to Nigeria, so we can't just be going back and forth with time. All right, great. So Princess Ibirunke, get ready. You'll be coming up any moment from now. Once you're ready, you can come up, and we'll be so glad to welcome and have you right here. All right, guys, it's time. I don't know if you used to watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I don't know if they still do that. I think MTN, something like that. So that program when they want to announce the result, everybody's mind will be like bim, 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 bim. You want to know if the question was correct, if the guy will move to the next stage or something. So we are just at that stage right now. So Ibirunke will be coming up now. Welcome, Ibirunke Yekini. She's a senior software test engineer, and she's currently a test manager. That's like the peak of the software test career as of now. So I don't know, probably in the future they will have another position. All right, welcome, guys. If you are there right now and you're seeing Ibirunke Yekini, or you can hear her, you can see the screen, just put your favorite emoji right on the comment section. Let me know that I'm not the only one who is seeing her, and of course, I'm not the only one seeing the screen. So let me have your favorite emoji on the comment section. Oh,
Also,
great.
please
Oh,
let me know if they can hear me and they can see my screen. That's the most
I,
important thing.
I think they can. They can. They are giving me some very good vibes. You know, they're giving me some good vibes from here. But I think they can. So, what you're going to do now is, as she's talking, just as I told you before, have your notepad, have your pen. So, what you'll be doing now is you would jot down questions. If you have any question, you jot it down. So, once we get to the question and answer section, all what you need to do is to type it right in there. All right. All right, great. So, engineer Ibirunke, welcome on stage.
Thank you very much, Gentle. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I don't know. You see all those titles that I'm hearing. I don't know. I know that I'm a software tester. That's all I know. Is there anybody here that wants to say otherwise? Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Gentle, for that intro. I really appreciate. Trying to do two things. Again, I always want to be sure I'm not the only one on this journey, right? We are here together. So, yes, let me know in the comment section. You can hear me clearly. You don't even need to see me, actually. Just let me know that you can hear me clearly and that you can see my beautiful screen. Very importantly. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first session for this program, for this webinar. And I'm going to be talking about software testing career fair. So like I said to you guys on chat, I said, in case you have had mind to do front end, back end, data science, data analysis, you have to guide your hearts jealously and diligently because I might be shaking your hearts, At the end of this speaking, you might end up want to do software testing. I don't know. I don't know. All right, so welcome. First thing first, I would like us to meet. I'm always using a very good formula that I would say you should use even before we start talking about testing. And the formula is fees. That is where I introduce myself because in most cases, especially in tech, we don't need to know your marital status. We don't need to know your home address number. We don't need to know your local government area. We don't need to know your date of birth. We don't need to know your date of birth. I'm saying this because I wish somebody very smart is putting that down so that you know that whatever you're having in your CV, you need to start removing them if you have them. So the very formula that I used to introduce myself is fees. Now, F stands for my full name. My full name is Ibirunke Ekini. That is my full name. I don't have third, fourth, fifth additional name. It's just Ibirunke Ekini, simple. And the E there, the first one is talking about my education. I said I'm one of the wrongest people to say to dive people that don't have an IT background into tech because I have an IT background, but I can tell you for a fact that it has actually had nothing to do with my career in tech. So I'll get to that. I had my OND at Ogun State Polytechnic. That's at Igbesa. I don't know if anybody knows that. I studied computer science and in HND, I did computer science and statistics. When I went further ahead in my BSc again to do computer science, and somebody said, "Oh, no wonder, all this science." But we'll get to that. My experience, I'm a software tester. I can do both manual and automation testing. I can carry out both functional and non-functional testing. All right. There are various tools I can use depending on what I want to test. Is it UI? Is it backend? Is it API? Is it data? There's so many tools I can use. So I would say altogether I have over 4 years of experience doing software testing, close to 5 years. My skills, like I've mentioned, I don't need to start debunking that right now because most of you might not be able to relate with it. But if you have people that are already doing into testing, when I mention skills like API testing, data testing, UI, manual and automation, using Selenium WebDriver, using Postman or SOAP UI to carry out API automation testing, that's backend testing, what all of us know as backend. and then doing performance, doing security scanning, stuff like that. So basically, I would say in rough sense, those are basic things I can do, but I have so much more I can do. Then I would say if you want to follow me on Facebook or on Instagram, just check for my full name, Ibiroke Ekini, that's all. And if you want to check me out on Instagram, I think my full name is still my handle, and on Twitter at YKThinkBig, like you can see on your screen. So I put the screen on the board because I wanted you to have I wanted to do a quick flashback of where I was coming from before I dive into tech. Now, on the first screen, you can see 2017, and on the left screen, or I don't know which screen it is for you, but you can see 2020, and you can see the massive, the massive difference. I mean, right, in just 3 years. And somebody will say, "Oh, in 3 years, oh, your face has changed." Now that one you did not do makeup. This one you do makeup. The one you were wearing native, the other one you were wearing shirt. But in real sense, that was not to all that changed about me. My life generally has changed. My career generally has changed. My person generally has changed. The way I view things, the way I see things, the way I use applications has changed. Because of the immigration. Now in 2017, majorly at this time that you're seeing me on this desk, I'll probably be managing my cafeteria in school. Everybody know cafe in school now. That place where you're gonna do your photocopy, typing. Now, I'm one of those people that will attend to you at the cafe, where I will type, do your assignment for you, send it to your email, help you to do your seminars, presentation, and all those kind of hustle. That was exactly what I was doing in this year. And that was what I did throughout to sponsor myself in HND and then to BSc. Do you get? Now, in this same year, 2017, I finished my HND. Hooray, I have distinction. It's NDHND use distinction as the highest grade. I had distinction. Oh, wow, fantastic. It's very easy for me to go and do my BSc. I moved straight into BSc. I did great. I had 2-1 in computer science as well, right? And I went to serve. Now, in 2018 was when I served, and then I was like, okay. So I went to do for an interview in an IT firm, and then the person asked me, "What can you do for us?" Now, I was not the only one on that desk when they were asked this 2017-2018 interview, and then somebody asked me, "What can you do for us?" Yes, I have computer science. What can you do for us? The other lady had business administration. No, the other guy had business administration. What can you do for us? I had one of my mentors like that ask it, and then somebody asked him, he studied mass communication, and they asked him, "What can you do for us?" The truth is, that's the question they always ask you outside the marketplace. What can you do for us? You have studied the old, you have the first class and everything, but the question is, you can't do anything. So in that same year, I decided to pick up a career in software testing. I did the old YouTube learning and everything of sort, finally get myself into career, and I used to think that, and that was when I really discovered that what I studied in school, I don't want to be part of people that will tell you that schooling is, is not as, oh, it's going to give me the best of life as we all thought it is, but I'm not using any of it. In fact, I've never showed any company my ND certificate, how much for my HN, not talk of my BS. In fact, they don't even know how my NY certificate looks like. And then I started the career all by myself, learning on my own. I continued building on it, moving from one company to the other. Finally, I was able to get myself skilled up. And over the years, I've been able to train at least 268 people to becoming a software tester, regardless of their IT background. So we have people that do not even know anything close to IT at all, in their own educational background. People that study peace admin, public health, different backgrounds. But now they are in tech and they are doing well. They are doing well as high as 7 figures. But that's not the gist, But what you need to know is that one of the things I'm going to be debunking from you this evening is that you can do so much more, regardless of whatever you studied in school. When it comes to tech, it's about you, not about what you study. So let me move fast. The rules of the game still remains the same. Remember, when you are listening, especially if you are listening to me, I'm very jealous about myself. When you are listening to me, I need your mental presence, no distraction, no listening. Keep your mutual respect throughout. Of course, you're going to get access to it, but make sure all the rules of the game we stated on Saturday are still intact. Okay, so in case you're a software tester or you're already a tech expert on this platform, remember, you're not here to attack people, you are here to solve problems, and that's what we are doing here. So you can just do well to help other people having issues around you, rather than tackling them for the issues they're having. Okay, Now, there are 10 busting minds about careers in tech. A lot of us know that, right? First, they tell you that you need a degree in computer science to start working in tech. I'm here to tell you that is no. In fact, I can tell you for a fact that you do not need a career, you do not even need a degree at all to even do computer science, to even do a career in tech. We have students that we have secondary school students, primary school students doing amazing stuff in tech. Now, primary, that is not to say, I mean, we are not even talking about university, primary. Now, the youngest IT candidate who just joined Twitter of recent is just a 15 years old boy. Now, this boy has not smelled university, not talk of having a degree in any course, not talk of doing anything related to computer science, but he's working as a software engineer already. So, my dear brothers and sisters, if anybody tells you anywhere that you need to have a degree in computer science, tell them that is a big mind. It is not true in any way. Now, another mind, somebody is going to tell you that technology is all about coding, math, and science. But absolutely, that is not true, because I can tell you that for the first 2-3 years of my career, I did not dive into coding. I did not even type a one line of coding. All I had to do is make sure that, okay, is your sense working? Yes, and that is it. Now, as I want to grow in my career, there is a need for me to upskill, and then I gather the necessary skills. Necessary skills might now involve you having a coding or a programming language experience. One is just perfectly fine on the long run. And this is like you already 2 to 3 years into the career to grow. There are even some areas that you don't even need to code at all, and you are still going to make as high as 7 to 8 figure salary every month. Careers like product management, careers like project management, careers like which other one should I use? Digital marketing, right? You don't really need to. You don't even need it at all. You don't need it at all. And you can be successful. There are so many careers you can do without coding at all. Like you don't even need to smell what is called coding. You don't even need to see that junky black screen that you used to see on your friend's screen. Okay, so please don't let anybody deceive you with that, or to give you a false information that you need to, tech is all about coding, math, and science. It's not true. You have to learn the IT coding language. I think I've addressed that. If you want to get hired, that is not true. You don't have to learn the IT coding language. You don't even need it at all. You can choose a career that has nothing to do with coding. Women are interested in tech. Well, I think that's automatically we can also say that that's a lie, because I am a woman and I'm quite very much interested in tech. Okay. In fact, I don't think in 5-10 years to this time I'll be dropping tech. There are other areas you can even still do what you are doing. You can end up become a techpreneur. You can do business in tech. There is so much. All right. And women are even much interested in coding. Why? Because we find it even quite easier than the guys. Okay, so it's not true that women are not interested in tech. Now, somebody will say you get stuck in a career path. Nope, not true. You can easily dive, especially if you are doing software testing like me. We get to talk about that later. If it's not Facebook or Google, it's not a technology role. That's not true. There are so many areas, there are so many industries you can work as an IT expert, aside from Facebook and Google. Money is the main benefit of tech job. Not true. I mean, I think that also answers there is no creativity in tech. That is absolutely not true. Because why? When it comes to tech, you can be creative, you can build, you can destroy, like me. That's what I do. I'm paid to destroy apps. You can be creative with what you are doing. It's not just because of the money. It's satisfying. I'm in tech, but right now we are doing this CS Launchpad for free. There is no money benefit attached to it, but it is satisfying. It's career fulfilling. It's purposeful. Okay, tech is worldly, and I know everybody, a lot of people are on this table. Tech is for people in the world. No, the world is not divided into two. All right, there is no worldly people and then those in the Christ that are doing tech. No, everybody does tech. Okay, it's not a worldly thing. In fact, tech started with Christ, but I don't want to talk about that. Tech for Christ people are going to give you more details about that on Friday. Okay, so tech is not worldly. Okay, it's not devilish. It's not It's not about those doing Yahoo Yahoo. Okay, that is not the tech we are talking about here. And tech is a freelancing job. Everybody will say, "Oh, I just want to do tech and be able to sit there in my house, get the freelancing job, and then make my money." But hello, you have to go to work at times, and if you get to work with companies that are remote or international, then you can tend to do freelancing, or you can tend not to work with any company and then do freelancing. So there are so many options. You can do a 9 to 5 job, you can do a contract job, you can do a part-time job. There are different roles that you can do. So these are the more like when I hear this mind, my head goes wire. So I need to clear this, and you need to clear this off your mind. Okay. Now, technology or software engineering. Now, a lot of people, a lot of us have even not know what the difference between technology or software engineering is. Everybody say tech, tech, tech. Now, the truth is that somebody will come and tell me, "Oh, I'm novice, I'm new to tech." You are not new to tech. You are just new to software engineering. Now, there's a difference between tech and software engineering. Okay. Yes, they are together. Software engineering is also tech. Okay. Now, technology is a sum of techniques, skills, method, and processes that you use in producing of a goods and services. So, for example, you want to order an item, like retail company does. You want to send your item to your customers. You will not carry your leg and waka to go and deliver it. You can use technology tools. All right. You can get a car is a technology, right? It is a technology. Your phone is technology. You don't have to use your hand to wash clothes again. There is washing machine. That is a technology, right? These are skills that are put together for delivering of goods and services. Now, we are not coming to be more specific when we talk about software engineering. Okay? If I give you a mobile phone to use, an iPhone today, and I don't need to tell you how to dial a number on it before you know how to learn and use it by yourself, then you are tech oriented. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you are software engineering oriented. Now, software engineering is actually a systematic application or engineering processes to the development of a software. Now, this one are very specific to developing a software. When you talk about a skill like UI UX, you are being specific that you want to have a career in software engineering. If you talk about software testing, front end, back end, Android, all the skills, they are software engineering related career. They are not just tech. So somebody who come at me and said, "Oh, I'm an IT expert." Sorry, and I know that when we were small, in fact, when I was small, a lot of all these uncle in the streets used to use that to bobo me a lot. "Oh, I'm an IT person." Sorry, what does that mean? IT simply means information technology. Oh, are you saying you're an information technology person? Please don't don't let us be mixing it again. Okay. So what we are doing here, what you are interested in the real sense that brought you to CS Launchpad is actually your interest in software engineering, not that you want to start up a career in tech. Tech is like the grandparent, okay? But software engineering is the parent. That is where you want to be a part of a family. Of course, you want to know, you want to be a boy or a girl or a uncle. You just want to be part of the family. And there are so many areas in software engineering that can make up a part of a parent. Of course, parents make so many kids. Now, when you're talking about software engineering, now this is me trying to do an overview so that by the time any other speaker comes on board, you will know where they fit in. Okay? Now, when it comes to software engineering, when you want to develop a software, sometimes they call it a software, sometimes they call it an application, sometimes they call it so many names. So software or application or programs, they are introduced, which is fine. Now, if you want to develop an application, there are phases you need to go to. The first thing, you need to gather the requirement. Now, let me use an example. Let me look for somebody that messaged me last on, let me see. Okay, let's say Rabiat, okay, let's say Rabiat enterprise, she wants to develop an application. The first thing you have to do when they now say, okay, Rita, or let me not use Rita so that I won't say I'm being partial. Oluwatosin, right? Then I say, "Oh, Oluwatosin, meet Rabia. She said she wants to develop an application." Okay, so you get all the information of what she wants on her application or what she wants on her software, and then you gather it and then you bring it to the team. Now, at that point, the person that's Tosin now, is acting as someone we call a product manager. And apologies, a program manager or project manager is not part of this training for this cohort, which is fantastic. So product manager is the person that will do like an intermediary to talk to the customer and then talk to the team that will develop the application. Now, when they bring the application to the team, a project manager picks it up, understand what the customer wants, and interpret it to a language that the software engineers will understand. Okay, and then they can break it down into works. They can decide on which one they will do first and which one they will not do. Now, in the course of which one they will do first, the first thing they have to do is to design. How will it look like when they want to use it? That is what we call the UI. The UI UX person will design the way it will look like, right? User UI means user interface. UX means user experience. Okay. Now that is the person that is responsible for designing the feel and the look of the application. Now, once that is being designed, a developer, front end, back end. Front end is the person that will write a code to make that thing that the UI UX person has designed, to look exactly the way it should look like on a web app. Okay, so it's just like you sketch something on a paper, and then somebody now use a code to make it look the way you can look at it on your screen right now, transferring it from a paper to a screen. Let me just say that's like the most layman language to explain it. All right, so when you are transferring it from a paper to a screen, makes it look the way it looks on the paper. That is when you're now using a code to do that. That's when you're doing a front end development. Now, after this, a back end person would work. Maybe not after, but in between, a back-end person will work. Now, what does a back-end person does? He is the one that controls what happened behind the scene. So when you put in your first name, last name, middle name, other email address, password, and you submit, that information is saved somewhere. All right? And that is what the back-end does. The back-end collects the information and saves it on the database. Now, that database that everything is going to save, imagine every 1,000 people here that register that we have their information is a database. That is where your data analysis person manages information, make decision for the team through that information. Okay? Now, when front end, back end, they have all done their thing, a tester has to test the application. Make sure that what Rabia says she wants to get done is actually what Tosin and her team develops for Rabia. All right, that is testing. And then when it is tested and it is confirmed fine, we now deploy it. When we deploy, we mean that we can now make it accessible to Okpeyemi, to Rabia, that she can now use it. Okay, now there are people that makes work easy in the course of deployment, and that's what we call a DevOps person. A DevOps person, let me use like Marvelous as an example of a DevOps person. She is the one that will make sure that everything you have done internally within the Tosin and his team and her team, internally, whatever they have done, she's going to make sure that yes, this thing is now live. Everybody, customers, and all access it, and that is the flow. From the planning stage, it goes to the designing, it goes to the development, it goes to the testing, and it deploys it to the customer. That's the phase. I wouldn't do so much complex now. Now, what is even testing? Because that is where I'm concerned about, right? So I'll play this simple video for you just to give you a definition. All right? And after that, I can explain what it means. Oh boy, this is not playing because I'm on. Oh, this is PDF. Sorry, I didn't play this. So sorry about that. All right. So when you have the material with you, you can always play the video. Now, software testing. This is when you are checking what Okpeyemi have said. My app should be able to accept orders from customers. Or Rita said, my app should be able to accept customer shoes, bag, anything that they want. You should be able to, send me a notification that this person has placed the order. I should be able to see when the person placed the order, how much the person paid, confirm the person has made payment, and then place the order. And then this app should be able to give me delivery, and then delivery progress, myself and the customer, and then the person will be able to pick up, deliver to the person, and the person can rate the application, our service. That is what Rabia wants. So imagine in the course of explaining, Tosin has picked up one or two things that were wrong, and then communicate it across to the developer, the designer design like that and everything. And then we carry the whole bug or the whole misunderstood statement and then give it back to Rabia. Do you know what will happen? It means that everything we have done is shit. Everything we have done is nonsense. It's not correct. Okay. So now what the essence of software testing is to make sure that you are checking that whatever is being planned, well, whatever the customers want, versus what it is being done, it meets the requirement. That's what we call meet expectation. What is the expectation of the customer? What did they do? Does it meet the expectation? Yes. Fine, this thing passed. Does it meet the expectation? No, this thing doesn't pass. So, for example, I'm trying to log into my Facebook account. All right. And then normally, when I put in a valid username and a valid password, or let's say I put in a valid username and then I put in an incorrect password, what should happen? Let me get one or two responses. What do you think should happen? Anybody? Answer. Anybody. What do you think should happen when you put in your correct username into the application and then you put a wrong password and then click on the submit button? What do you think should happen? Unable to log in. Fantastic, Adebi Adewale. That is it. You'll be unable to log in. Now imagine, thank you, Akpos. I love that. A message saying you entered the wrong password. That is even more. In fact, I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Akpos. He said a message. Aside from the fact that you will not be able to log in, there should be a message. Trust me, if you're unable to log in, nothing happens. And I didn't see a message. You start saying, what is happening? And nothing is happening because you don't even understand what is happening. Exactly. So that is what is. Now imagine that you are not able to log in. So this is a situation whereby your mobile app, your GTB or Access Bank application on your phone, somebody just fix it, put in any name anyhow, and then click on login, and the person was able to log in. Do you know what can happen? What do you think can happen? Anybody? When somebody can log into your application, your mobile app account with their own username and password, and then they log in, see your money, what do you think can happen? Anybody? Let me see. It should say wrong password combination. Okay, that's good. Anybody, what do you think will happen if they're able to now log in with that wrong password? They say, perfect. That is it. Debt. Now, transfer your money. Exactly. That is the truth. These are the things that can happen to your application. These are the things that can happen to you. If fraud, if your account is not secured, if the tester does not test your account and say, yeah, this is fine. Imagine you build an aeroplane and then they tell you that this aeroplane that people are flying, we have never tested it before. This is the first time. I think I saw a joke like that. You will not go with that plane. Everybody will come down. It's not my life that if we will not use the test. Exactly. The same way you don't want to buy a cloth from the market and then bring it up without testing it is the same way you should not use an application that is not guaranteed that it has been tested. So that is why testing is important. That is why we are doing software testing. So you are like a police of the application. I said, wait, you are finished, I've been fine, bring it. Let me check if this is secure, if this is fine, if all the test cases have said this thing should not do. Hope is not doing it. The thing I say you should do, Hope that is what it's doing. So basically, that is what you are doing. Confirming that yes, this thing works and this thing does not work. You remember one time when Jumia had an issue during their promo and then all of a sudden their website, people could not log in again, the application shut down. That was because there was so many crowd. They have not tested it against that large volume of people. Imagine you are saying that, okay, this application, let's just do it that 1,000 people can log in. And then you now notice that 5,000 people now like what you want to do, and then they now registered. What will happen? The app will crash. Why? Because you have not checked the threshold over that large amount of people. Testing is quite important because if you don't do it, it can cost your life. Imagine an application of an aeroplane or a medical device that is not well tested. An application like your mobile banking app. So this thing can cost you to lose life, to lose money, to lose your customers. Imagine your customers use the application for the first and then they are being defrauded. So you will lose a lot of things. So that is what software testing is all about, and that is the importance. Now I'm going to give you a brain teaser. Look at this message very well on the screen and drop it in the chat section. What do you think? Give me the errors in this message. I have over 20 bugs. Bugs is like the error you get in a message. Okay, they are like the error you get in an application. Okay, they say my time remains 10 minutes, so let me wrap up. So please, I need your chat section. Tell me this statement, what is wrong about it? What are the words that are wrong? Pinter. Now this is me giving you a task. There is a bug on this app. not the image you are seeing here. No, I'm talking about this text itself. There are so many bug statements, the very wrong statement inside. So tell me, let me see the one you can catch. Which statement, which word is wrong? Of his wage. Fantastic. I love that, Taufik. Of his wage. Fantastic. Is instead of is. These people, he is instead of is. There are still so many. Oh. What is some people are just workman, supposed to be workman. Fantastic. Who else? Sweat, not sweet. Great, great. Keep it coming. The words are not clear on my end. Oh, so sorry about that. Let me see. How about now? How about now? Okay, his wage. Fantastic. It's fruit. Amazing. Is not is. Thank you so much. Now, these are some of the little issues you can see. They said, and I do now. They said a workman. It's not a workman. It's a workman. Is worthy of is. You know, is HIS not is where it is. Do not decline. It's not even decline. It's deny. Labor of is fruit. Workers are some blessing. No, workers are a blessing. Society strive on their sweat, not sweet. May your furnish, may you flourish, may your sweet, no, may your sweat. Do you get? So these are errors that you can possibly come about. Okay, as tiny as it is in a statement. Now, these are the correct word. A workman is worthy of his image. Do not deny labor of his fruit. Workers are blessings to every nation. Societies thrive on their sweat. May you flourish in all you do. May your sweat not run dry before you reap fruit of your labor. An idle person is a disgrace to himself and family. Labor brings dignity. Laborers are true champions, not through. May the spirit of workers rise, not rise. Rise higher with the spirit of human dignity. Happy Workers' Day. That was a message. And imagine somebody telling you happy Workers' Day, then the person will put in so much of errors. You'll be like, wait, are you even cursing me or you are blessing me? All right. So now when you see a bug, when you see an application, it looks like a daunting ground, just like what you can see on the screen. When you have a beautiful application, trust me, there are goals on the land, okay? But the bugs has covered up the good thing. Now, a buggy application, it makes you turn off, pissed off from even using the application. Okay, and you need to know how to debug bugs for an app. If you look at that screen that I showed you earlier and you did not see any single bug, then there is something wrong with your attention to detail skills. Right now, you don't even need any tool, any programming language to do this one. It's just your common sense. It's just your own English language skill to be able to detect error. That is the way testing is. It's as easy as that. So you should be able to detect error as a tester. One of the skills that are very, very important is your ability of curiosity. You should be able to be curious. Now, somebody look at all the garbage and all the dirt on the screen. What is that one looking for at that spot? It's curiosity. You should be curious enough to know what is wrong with this thing. You should be able to look for, but you should have eyes for detail. You should be paying attention to details. You need to have eyes for details and also pay attention to details. That means you have to be very patient. This is not a rush and do and pass by. Okay? Now, communication skill, technical skills, soft skill are so many things that you need to learn when it comes to software testing as a career, because it is you can see this application now. Trust me, I've sat down on your GTB or your Access Bank or your First Bank application before, and I've written out at least 50 bugs in the application. But trust me, you as a person might not be able to see. Why? Because you are not a tester, so you have not even wired yourself to that level of identifying a bug when you see one. You just say that this is not working, Jerry. Now, how do I become a tester? One of the first steps for you to become a tester is to have an interest, right? You have an interest. That interest, that passion, that zeal has to be there. Trust me, when it comes to any IT skill, one of the things you need to move is to have a great interest for that thing. If you don't have interest, zeal, and passion for that particular skill, that is when you find yourself wanting to learn almost every skill in IT. And that is when you will discover that you don't have a career map, and before you know it, you will not grow in that career. Okay, so you need to learn. You need to learn how to have good interest in something and pursue your interest. Now, when you have an interest in something, the first thing I always tell you, like the way I started, is that I make a research. What is this thing all about? Oh, it is graphics. Okay, let me see. Graphics designing. This is what they do. Wow. Okay, this is what it's about. How do I learn it? What are the tools I need to use? Oh, I need a computer to use it. Those are the research you make. Make a research. You need to know these things for yourself. So that is why, see, when you make your research, when you see somebody out there say that, oh, come and learn software testing in 1 week, you be like, are you joking? You mean all these things that I made research and I confirmed, I should come and learn it? This one want to scam me? Don't worry, pay 50K, I will teach you in 1 month. Hello? No, it doesn't work that way. When it comes to a career, right, it needs so more, because it has a career map. Now, when you make your research, then it's now time for you to learn, because you have had interest and you understand what this is about, that you want to learn it. Okay, that's where you can now get a good academy that can teach you. And one of those academy is Testify. Okay, Test Code Camp can teach you in that in 90 days. Now, after that, you're expected to do internship. Now, I'm going to reserve my comment on this part only for those that join software testing after Friday. I'm going to teach you how to have an experience without going to the office. You can actually have a work experience without going to the actual office. Without even getting to do interview and getting a paid job, you can actually get an experience. But I'm going to keep that for my software testing people. Now, when you have done your internship, you have learned, you have done little tasks here and there, then you can now enroll to become a full-time junior tester. As a junior tester, you work with testers, you work with co-testers in a company, you learn, you build yourself, you skill up, and then you move to an associate test engineering level. With an associate test engineering level, by that time, you can even tell people what software testing is. You can tell them to choose. You can, no, it's not test this thing very well. No, check this one. No, there are still some bugs in that thing. Okay, use this to, you can already do, manage your application, your tests properly. And then you now grow to become a senior test or a senior test engineer, senior tester or a senior test engineer. And after that, we expect you to be able to manage people with your managerial skills, soft and technical skills. And that's when you are being promoted to a test lead. After a test lead will mostly manage like 5-10 people, but when you now become a test manager, is when you have been able to manage like these 20 to 30 people to become a tester. And then you become a senior test manager or a test consultant on the long run. So that is the map from the interest to the senior test manager level or to a testing consulting level. That is a journey. And it is not something that you want to start and do it for 1 week, 1 month, and then go and pick up Frontend. And then after Frontend, you're not going to do back. After back, you want to go and do it here. After here, no. Stick to one and take it through to the end. When you get to this pillar, this top, this short pyramid here, you cannot decide to go into a new career. But I'm sure, but by the time you are getting to this team lead level, to this QA manager level, you already started hearing stuff like 3 million, 5 million monthly. You will sure not want to do any other thing again. Now, where can you work? There are so many places you can work. It doesn't have to be a Facebook or a Google or Twitter, or Instagram. No, there's so many places. Tech firms. Name the tech firm around you that you know that doesn't have a tester. There is none. Paystack, Flutterwave, InterSwitch, banks, Kuda. Just name it. Look around you. Every tech firm you see around you. I'm not talking about those that sit down 2 or 3 to develop an app. I'm talking about a company, right? An IT company around you. Media, education, health, manufacturing, government, traveling, transport, corporate, finance, media. They all have an IT department that manages their work behind the scene. And there you will always find a tester behind the scene. Okay, so there is always a room for you in every industry. All right? Now, talk about this money, gun. Now, wait till concern me with that. I know, right? Now, if you become a very sound tester, let's say from an intern level, the least you collect in a month is 150,000. Now, that means in a year, you are earning 1.8 million naira annually. If you move to a junior level, you earn 3 million naira annually. If you move to an associate, 4.2, senior 6, senior test, I think I repeated that, test manager 8.5, team manager 10 million. Now, these are said at the least of money you can earn per annum. So any figure you see, you can divide it by 12. Now, these are the list of money you can earn per annum. You can see someone earning far above this, even as a junior tester. They can be earning 6 million. Imagine somebody in Nigeria working for an international company abroad, and you're paying the person in dollar, means you can earn more. Now, when you get an opportunity, especially when you're just starting your career, and they said, oh, we just have 50 or 70,000 dollars to pay in a month, I'm always saying it. Do it for the experience. You're not going to do more than 3 months before you get something better, definitely. So yes, do it. So if you are collecting lower than this as a tester, it doesn't mean that that is the standard approach. No, that is not the standard price. Okay, it is just you that want to do that. You can earn this amount in any level you are, and you can earn much higher. So look at the long run. Look at how much you can earn in 1 year being a test manager. 10 million naira, and you still want to leave this and want to start learning front end. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so yes, these are not prices, or these are not money, that you come by and you start learning so that then you start learning millions today. No, it doesn't work that way. You need to grow your career. You need to build it. And funny enough, like I said on my Instagram page, your skill is your power. So if you want more money, you have to be more skilled. Okay, you have to grow in skill. And software engineering skills generally, or let me say software engineering, front end, back end, are not really dependent on how many years you have. It's about how good are you. Okay, it's about how good. It's more of how good are. Yes, there are some levels you get, like your senior test managers, senior test engineers. They want to see how many years of experience you have. But when you're just starting your career and talking about the money, it's about what can you do. If you have just 1 year in testing and you can do mobile automation excellently, you go for an interview, you break it, and then you tell them how much you want to collect 500K in a month, they will pay you. It's about the skill you have. Now, are you in? Are you in? Have I been able to convince you and not confuse you? Our software testing is a goal. So if you know you are in, now this is what we are going to be covering for the next 2 weeks. Software testing concepts, testing documentation, important tools necessary for software testing, writing a standard test case documentation, hunting and logging of bugs on bug management tools, creating a presentable test report, how to become a pro tester in 100 days, and a free webinar on software testing. So these are what I'm going to be teaching with you in the next 2 weeks if you choose to be part of software testing, if you choose software testing as a career. So if this career resonates with you as a person, then give this a yes on Friday by picking it as a career option. Like we said, by Friday, we are going to be sending you a webinar, a survey to pick which one you want to do. So if software testing is what interests you, please pick it as an option. And I look forward to having a nice time with you. Thank you. Oh God, I've used so much of your time. I'm gentle. We can't hear you though, or I can't hear you though.
Oh, so sorry, but I think I can
Okay.
be heard now.
Yes, you can.
Oh, great. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ibironke. That was an amazing session. And I believe we are doing great. Yeah, please, if you're still here and you're still very much energetic, let's see your favorite emoji right there. Yeah, and let's thank Engineer Ibironke for the amazing session. That was a powerful 30 minutes, and I believe you heard most of the things you were looking forward to hearing or something close to that. Yeah, so very quickly, we'll be having the next webinar session. So just as I said before, if you have a question, we wouldn't take questions in between, just so we could at least finish up with the webinar. So what would happen is write down your question after now, like after the next presentation, we will take question for both sessions, and the presenters would be will still be kind enough to be here with us while we take both questions just after the webinar. So we'll be having the next webinar Amazing, amazing. I think today just it's just for software engineering mostly. Yeah, today is mostly for software engineering, but we are all here. Just I told you before, make sure you have your notepad. Sometimes you may think, oh, it's just 30 minutes. So I mean, my brain is good. See, your brain will fail you. But you see, sometimes when you write something on the paper wouldn't lie. So please get your pen, get your paper, write down the nuggets. When I saw some monies being displayed on the screen, I'm always excited when you quantify when you value things in money, because I know majority of us we like money too much. All right, so we'll be having Engineer Nwafo Oyebuchi joining us for front end web development. Okay, front end development basically. So he'll be coming up to give us the nuggets for this evening about everything you need to know about front end development. So for those of us who have probably some of us don't know about front end, you don't even know what that means. What are they saying? Now, what are they developing? Is it local government development commission? All right, so we're coming up right away. So, Buchi, you're welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Yeah, and the floor is open. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Um, Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're listening from. Please let me know if you can hear me. Hello. Indicate if you can hear me, please. All right, great, awesome. Okay, so first of all, I want to take this moment to say how excited I am to be on this. Actually, I haven't talked to this much people before, but I love the opportunity because it was a program like this that actually gave me a head start. So I grabbed it with both hands when it came because I saw it as an opportunity to um, help someone who might be at a point where I was at that time. So please take this seriously, learn as much as you can, and I hope I hear your testimony after this. Okay, so my job this evening is basically to introduce you to the world of front-end development, right? So that's what I'm going to be doing in the next 30 minutes. I'm going to show you what front-end development is basically and what it takes to be a front-end developer, the steps you need to take, and the benefits. So the idea is at the end of this presentation, you should be able to confidently make a decision on whether or not you want to embark on a career as a front-end developer, right? Okay, so that's where we are going. First of all, a moment, please. Okay, so my name is Nwafo Buchi. You can find me on Twitter on this handle. You can always connect with me if you have questions or anything. Of course, I'm on the Slack channel. So I'm a front-end developer. I work as a front-end developer. That's what I do. And what I'm going to be sharing with you is basically my practical experience and hoping it helps you. All right. So what exactly is front-end development, or what's when we say front-end development, what do we really mean? Right. So first of all, let's understand what front end is, right? So when we talk about front end, we are talking about that part of a software that the user interacts with, the user facing side of a software application. So everything from the button you click, everything from the forms you fill, the colors you see, the layout, all of these are in the domain of front end, right? So that's basically what front end is. So we move to understanding what then is front end development. But before we go there, let me say that when we talk about software, or when we talk about, when we talk about software, we are basically talking about, it could be web application, it could be mobile application. Web application is like your school portal for those of you that are still in school. The mobile apps like your banking apps, like your WhatsApp messaging apps, those are mobile applications. And then desktop applications like your office tools. So all of these are software application, and front end actually cuts across all of this. So everything you see on your application is in the domain of front end. All right. So that is what front end is. So what then is front end development? So when we talk about front end development, we are basically talking about that aspect of the software development process that focuses on the user experience, how the user will experience the software. Now, what is important to understand is when you hear front end, think of user. All right. So I know all the aspects of software development is actually about the user. I mean, the application we are building is for the user, but the front end is the part of the software that the user will be interacting with directly. And that it kind of makes it makes being a front end developer feel like you are the most important person in the team, right? Because at the end of the day, the user doesn't really care about the APIs. The user doesn't care about the server monitoring and all that. All the user really cares about is what is in front of him, right? And that's one of the things I love a lot about front end development, because you get to determine the experience the user will have. You have the opportunity to define how the user will see the app, right? Okay, so having said that, like I have a small tip here that says user is king. Yes, we are a software development team is basically there because of the user. All right, so that is very important to remember in front end development. All right. I'm trying to be as fast as I can so that we don't spend too much time here. If you have any questions, of course, you can always ask after now. I'm on a Slack channel, like I said, and you can always reach me on my Twitter handle. All right. So now that we have understood what front end is, we've understood what front end development is. So let's try to a kind of picture a software development team and see how the front end person fits into the team. Right now, this is by no means a kind of a full picture of what the software development team looks like. I've actually brought the aspects that actually have the closest relationship with the front end, so that to give us a kind of context on what the front end developer does in a software development team, right? So towards the left, you see that we have the designer. So our previous speaker talked about, she talked about UI UX. So the design is basically the UI UX person on the team. So he is the one that actually puts on paper. Look at it as is the guy that puts on paper the requirements of the product of the application that is being developed, right? So now the front end person is the one that will actually take this design, work with this design to write codes that will make this design actually work. So when you have a design, it's like a drawing on the paper. It doesn't actually do much functionally. You can't take a design and create an account that will actually persist data on the database. No, you can't take a design to you actually can't do anything with the design as a user other than saying, okay, this is what the app is going to look like when it's finally done. Okay, so sorry, please, a moment. Okay, so the design is done, and as a front-end developer, you are going to code the design. So I know on the first day during the onboarding session, right? During the onboarding session, okay, during the onboarding session, Ibironke said something about it's not all fields in tech that actually requires coding, right? And that is very correct. But I don't know if this is a good news or bad news. But the thing is, front-end development is actually one of those that require coding, right? So if you want to do front-end development, you are going to write code. And for me, it's a good news because it's like being at the center of the action, right? So if you want to be at the center of the action, front-end is the place to be. As you can see, the front-end guy is actually in the middle, right? There's the design on this side, there's the back-end on this side, above is the user. The guy is sitting right at the middle. That's where you want to be, right? So in the coming slides, I'm going to show you what skills are required to actually do the job of taking a design and writing codes that will make the design work like an application. It's interesting. Okay, so the backend, how does the backend relate with the front end? All right. Now, when you take an application, let's take your favorite app, for instance. Okay, let's take your WhatsApp, for instance. WhatsApp is probably your favorite application, right? So I am chatting with you on WhatsApp, right? So when I download my WhatsApp and create an account, my data as a user gets stored somewhere, right? So you downloaded WhatsApp, you signed up, and then to have an account, your data is stored somewhere. Okay, so all of that about creating an account and actually storing data somewhere, making sure your data is safe somewhere, is all in the domain of the backend. When you open your chat application, the messages you see, right, it's coming from somewhere. Now, where the message is coming from, it's coming in a format that nobody understands. Okay, let me not say not everybody understands. Of course, apart from the front-end developers, right? The superstars, they actually understand what format this message comes in. Now, it is the job of the front-end developer to actually call those data from wherever they are, usually on the back end, to fetch it and display it the way the user will see it. So the backend guy is the one that will write the API. We call it APIs. The kind of the waiters or the waitresses that actually serve the data to the front end person. Don't worry about all of this. I just don't want to go into tech. I don't want to use technical terms so that we can all still be here. I don't want anybody to leave this meeting. So that's why I'm trying my best not to use technical terms. So, but look at it this way. When you open your application, the data that you see on your application, the information you see on your application, for instance, when you go to your profile page, your name, your phone number, all your details, right? They are coming from somewhere, okay? And they come in a format that is really not comprehensible to an average person. So it is the job of the front-end developer to actually transform that data, present it in a way that the user can actually make sense out of it based on what the designer has actually designed, right? I hope that makes sense. And there's the other person in the team which is the user. Now, I can say this a million times and I won't be bored. The user is king. As far as this team is concerned, the user is the most important person here. All right. I know I said we are the superstars earlier, but the user, I don't know, the user is just very, very important. So the user is a very important aspect of the team. But the actual user may not be in the team presently, but it has a representative in the person of the product manager, right? So the product manager is the guy that represents the user. So you answer to him. You actually say, oh, the product manager will tell you, I don't want this like this. This is how I want it. When I click my button, I don't want it to change color, that kind of a thing. So these are the team. So what is important for you to get from this slide is that the front-end developer interacts directly with the designer and then the back-end developer. They work hand in hand, all right? Okay, and of course, the user in the person of the product designer. Okay, so of course, I'll still take your questions. I know you might have some questions. I'll take it after now. Okay, so why front-end development? Why would I want to be a front-end developer? Like I already said, I already mentioned a few things that should actually pique your interest in this area, but I want to outline, this is not all there is, but these are the major reasons, the things that actually draw a lot of people to front-end development, right? So the first one, and possibly the most important one, is actually that it's beginner friendly. Front-end development is beginner friendly. You don't have to. Now, the fact is, for a lot of people in tech, they actually started with front-end development, and that is because the the skills you need to master or to get up and running are actually very, very easy, right? They are something that anybody can actually do. Now, while I'm here, I want to make a very, very important point. Maybe a lot of people, I've been on this Slack group. I saw a lot of, I've been on the introduction channel, and I see that people in this program are actually coming from different backgrounds, right? And it's important you understand that to be a developer, especially a front-end developer, you really don't have to be a genius. You don't need a super brain. You don't need a Superman brain, right? Anybody with average intelligence can be a front-end developer. That is very, very important. I forgot to mention while I was introducing myself that I don't actually have a background in computer science. I didn't grow up with a computer in front of me, right? I studied chemical engineering. That was what I did in school. Throughout the time I was in school, I didn't do anything IT, right? I only started doing IT after I had left school. You can imagine that. But what stood out is the fact that I was so hungry for knowledge. When I got into it, I was so hungry for knowledge that I grew at a very, very, very a very, very, very fast speed. I grew very fast because I discovered that this is an industry where there is no limit to what you can do. This is an industry where there is no limit to resources. You can learn anything, you can become anything, you can do anything, anytime. All right. If I had wanted to pursue a career in, say, chemical engineering, so let's say I wanted to build a career in chemical engineering, I discovered that it would have actually been, maybe, apart from the fact that I just didn't have interest in that area, it would have been a little bit more daunting. But in tech, all you need is just a computer and access to the internet, and you are free to fly as high as you want to. So I said that I was supposed to say this earlier, but I'm saying it now. So front-end development is actually very, very beginner friendly. In a few slides, I'm going to list the skills that are needed to get started as a front-end developer. But what I can tell you is that they are beginner friendly. You don't need any previous background in coding or or programming. You don't need to, when you watch films that have to do with technology, there are a lot of things you see, and it makes you feel that that is how the tech industry actually is. Yeah, it's not that. Those things are movies, right? They are movies. It's not real. So anybody can actually get into it and start producing results very, very fast. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. Yeah. So the next thing is that the next reason you might want to consider front end development is that it is fun and exciting. Like I have said, front end development is fun, like it's exciting. So imagine you're in a bus and someone pulls up their phone and begins to launches an app and starts using, and you look at the app and you remember when you actually styled that button the person is pressing, right? It's exciting, it's satisfying. And another thing about, someone once asked me, why are you not doing back end? Why are you not why front end? I told him that front end is very, very exciting. Like I don't feel bored. Like you get to actually see things the way it is. What I love most about front end is you're going to see things the way the user will see it. You are going to like you're working with the finished product. All right, it's not as if you are writing API and the user is not going to touch your API like directly. So front end excites me a lot because I it's like I'm seeing things from the eyes of the user, and I'm like, actually this is what the user is going to be looking at when it's done, and I'm the one doing it, right? So it's that's the fun for me. And there are a lot of there are a lot of tools, there are a lot of technologies, that there are a lot of options. That's another thing. You don't have to do it this way. There are a lot of options. There's so many ways of achieving the same result, and it gives you a lot of flexibility. You're not restricted to one thing. You can do the same thing several ways. So yeah, so it gives you an opportunity to learn a lot of things. Now, another reason why you may want to consider front end is it is very, very easy to land jobs as a front end developer. Now, this is because every software development team needs a front end developer. All right. I'm not going to tell you what what software development teams don't need, but I'm telling you there is no software development team that does not require a front end developer, no matter the size of the company. All right. Now this is it, because I know a lot of from the caption of this entire program is actually for people who want to switch into tech, right? The reason you want to switch into tech is most likely so that you can maybe get high value employment and more, right? So I'm telling you that you're going to find more jobs as a front-end developer than in any other field in tech. Quote me anywhere. So that's a very, very huge reason for you to consider front-end development. All right. So another one is relevance. I've actually said a lot about this. So being a front-end developer puts you right at the middle of the action. You are the guy that makes the user happy, makes you like, it's a lot. And then I talk about flexibility. This is actually common for a lot of tech jobs, right? So most tech jobs are such that you can do it from anywhere. You can work from anywhere. You don't have to be at the office. Even when you're at the office, you don't have to dress a particular way. So I know a lot of companies may have their rules, but it's very difficult to find companies that impose a particular dress code on their technology experts. So it's flexible. It's flexible. You don't need to be in a particular location to do your job. All right. So these are some of the reasons. Like I said, okay. Now onto the next slide. Now, what does it really take to become a front-end developer? I'm going to give you this roadmap, not really in terms of career growth or career transition. I'm giving you a roadmap based on skills. Because one thing I noticed, one thing I have learned in tech, which is what I love about it, is that when you have the right skills, you can become anything, anytime. There's no timeline to become, to get any title. In fact, nobody really cares about the title. So once you have the right skills, you can be anything at any time. All right. So as a front-end developer, the first set of skills you are going to learn, the basics, you're going to start with HTML. Now, the HTML is a markup language. All right. It's a markup language. What that means is that, don't worry, let me not get into that now, but just know HTML is very important. Now, there is no website on earth that does not have HTML. There is none. Now, that is big, that is huge. So, as simple as HTML is, it is that important. All right. So when you come to a website, it is HTML that actually describes the structure of the web page. All right. We are going to get into all of that in the coming days and weeks of this program. We are going to actually get your hands dirty with this, some of these things. Now, the next keys you're going to learn is CSS. CSS means cascading style sheet. Did I say what HTML means? It's hypertext markup language. Okay. So CSS is cascading style sheets. It's the tool that actually gives styling to a web page, not just a web page. It's actually the tool that gives styling to a lot of the applications you see. Yeah, you can use your CSS even in mobile applications. All right. So you get to define the layout. You get to decide the color. You get to decide you get to decide how the general look and feel of your website or your application. Remember, front end is about what the user sees. So these are very, very important stuff. So CSS is about typography, it's about colors, it's about layout, it's about slides, it's about animations, name it. So that's very important. Then you talk about JavaScript. So JavaScript is the first real programming language you are going to meet when you set out for the career, for the front end part. So these other guys I just mentioned are really not programming languages per se. So, but a lot of people will argue that it is, but I don't want, it's a fight I don't want to get into, and you shouldn't either. So, but know that JavaScript is actually the first real programming language you're going to meet. So JavaScript is the tool that you use to actually describe or actually to make your site interactive. All right. You want to be able to, you want something to happen when a user clicks a button or when a user is scrolling and gets to a particular point during the scroll, something should happen, all those things. So JavaScript it actually does more than this. JavaScript does a lot more than what I just said, but let's leave it at that for now. Now, I also need to mention that JavaScript is not just, now this is why I love front-end development. JavaScript is not just for front-end development. What it means is that it is required for front-end development. And when you learn JavaScript for front-end development, you can actually use it for other areas. So it actually empowers you to be many other things apart from front-end developer. All right. So today I am a front-end developer. I can do back-end, I can do mobile applications, all with JavaScript. Do you understand that? So it's powerful. It's a great place to start. Git and GitHub, yeah, this one is actually let me call it tools. They're actually not development languages or technologies like the other three. They're actually tools you make use of. So Git is a version control system. You're going to use it. It's very, very important. It may sound complex now, and even when you start doing it actually at the beginning, but eventually you're going to see that it is something you can't just ignore. Like you must know it. So basically, it's when we say version control, I should have mentioned before now that software development is actually a teamwork, right? So it is possible for two people to be working on the same file. When I say file, just understand it literally. File is file, just like you have your Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word file, or Excel file. A file is a file. So you can have two people working on the same file. So Git is the guy that makes it that you guys can work on this file and not really have conflict. You can do something, and another person can actually build on what you've done, and it doesn't override what you had already done and all that. So it's a little bit complicated. It's a little bit more complicated than this, but don't worry, we're going to see all of that in action. Okay, then GitHub. Okay, for now, just think of GitHub as a social media platform, right? Think of it as a hub, like a place where you show what you've done to the world. All right, not actually to the world, but to people that are also in that area. So as a developer, you are going to have a place where you put your work. All right, so if I want to work with you on something, on a project, and we are not physically together, there should be a way for us to collaborate. So GitHub is a tool that makes it possible for developers to actually collaborate on the same projects. All right, you can have access to other people's work and all of that. Just think of it as a hub, as a place where you can actually access resources that are specific to developers, to developers. Okay, so let's leave it at that for now. All right, then all of these things I've said, I consider them to be at the basic. These are still the basics. Right, so remember that this whole thing on this screen, is actually everything you actually need to be a professional front-end developer. When you know all of this, when you can actually do all of this, when you are familiar, let me not say no, because nobody ever really knows everything. I think I need to say that. But when you're familiar with all of this, then the sky is your limit, actually. So, but it starts here. It starts with the basics, and then you move to the what I may call the intermediate. So you're going to talk. As a matter of fact, I don't. I just put this thing from here to here to here. I don't want to talk about it so that somebody will not say I'm not doing it again. The reason I put it here is so that you have a general overview of what is involved. All right, so it's a general overview. It's not as in fact, we can't even cover all of this in this program, but the most important thing is for you to start, because when you start and you start asking the right questions from where you are, you're going to eventually get there. That is one thing I noticed that helped me when I started. So I started here. I was self-taught. Like I told you, I didn't read computer science in school. It was just questions. I was asking a lot of questions. So when I asked questions from what I have here, for example, when I built my first static website, the problem was, how do I even get it out there? How do I get it so that people can click on it and actually view it in their browser? Somebody told me about Git and GitHub. That's the trick. So somebody told me about Git and GitHub. I pushed it. That was the first time. In fact, I didn't even know about the one they call GitHub Pages. It was just so. The point is, as you're asking the right questions, you are gradually going from one step to another. Right? It's an industry that is very, very organized. Right? So storage API, dev tools, responsive designs, CLI, deployment, and all that. So we're actually going to do this in this program. We're going to build a website and actually deploy it to Netlify, so that you can show the world what you have done. All right. Okay. So this is going to be like the climax of this program. You're going to be able to use these tools. Now, like I said, it doesn't matter where you are, even if you have never heard these things before. In the next 2 weeks, you are going to build a website from the scratch, write the codes that make a website work from the scratch and put it up, deploy it, and the world will see it. How about that? Okay, so then from here you can talk about front-end frameworks, React, Vue. So this is the domain of single page application, which is actually a very, very important aspect of your career as a front-end developer. It's very, very important, right? Like this is like the biggest deal, or let me not say the biggest deal. This is like the word you hear most often when you go to interview. I'm going to actually give you, we're going to have a session for those of you that want to really take this thing far on how to actually get paid as a developer, right? Get paid as a front-end developer. Because I know I wrote an article one time, I titled it Coding for the Money, right? A lot of us, most people that go into tech, maybe because you know a friend or a family member that works in tech in one company like that, and they're being paid well, and you're like, well, what does it take to do this? So a lot of people go into tech because of money. I can tell you that for free, and it's not wrong. It's a very, very valid reason. So if that is your reason, I have a session for you where I can show you how to make it work. Right? Maybe you know someone, or even you know someone that has been coding or that has been active in the tech community for a very long time. They use a lot of tech terms and all of that, but they really don't have anything to show for it. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be the guy that throwing tech terms up and down, using big words and be feeling important, but you really can't show what you've made out of it. That is not what this program is about. It's about being able to take a decision to do something, put in the effort, and not stop until you see results, right? Okay, so we're going to see how to actually do all of that and how to go about all of that. So the advanced parts, we talk about the client server model, HTTP, REST API, network request, and all that. So this is like a general overview of what front-end development is. And like I said, I am seriously trying to hold myself not to go into technical details, but for a very long time in your career in front-end development, this is what you're going to be hearing about. All right. Okay, more technologies may still come out, but they're going to revolve around what we have here already. Okay, so in this program, I hope I'm not missing something. Don't worry. I know there are a lot of things I should have said that I'm probably missing, but like I said, if you ask me the right questions during this program, I'm going to say all of them. All right. So please feel free to reach out to me. My name on the Slack channel is Nwafonyebuchi. Feel free to reach out to me anytime and ask any question. That's why I'm here actually. Okay, so in this program, what exactly are we going to be doing? What am I expected to know at the end of this program? Now, like the previous speaker told us, when someone tells you, come to a program and in 2 weeks, you're going to learn everything you need to become a professional this, or a professional that, or a professional this, it's not true. I need to mention that this program didn't promise to make you become a professional front-end developer in these 2 weeks. It is CS Launchpad, right? It is Career Starter Launchpad. It is supposed to motivate you to want to start a career in a particular area in tech. There's always, no matter how big a thing is, it starts somewhere. So this is what this program is about. It's to expose you to the basics, right? So that you can now say, okay, this sounds like something I really want to do. This program is not supposed to make you a professional anything in this within this period. All right, so that we have our expectations clearly set. So in this program, we're going to be the first thing we're going to be doing is to understand what HTML is and the role it plays in building a web application. Like I said, there is no website on earth that doesn't run on HTML, that doesn't have HTML. It might be minimal, but it's there. Okay, so after that, we're going to talk about CSS, how we can add styles to our website, how to really make our website look, background colors, images, layouts, all that. So we're going to see how to make our website responsive. Now, if you have visited some applications, you discover that when you view a site on a desktop or on a tablet, on a mobile phone, it appears differently. The way it is laid out on a desktop is different from how it is laid out on a tablet. It is different from how it is laid out on your smartphone. So this is what we call responsive design, right? So you build a website to be able to automatically detect the size of the device you are building from and adjust its layout to fit nicely on that screen size. This is interesting actually. So we're going to learn all of this in CSS section, and then we're going to dive into JavaScript, the basics, and understand the basics of JavaScript. Now, the interesting part of this session is we are not just learning JavaScript here. We are learning the basic concepts of programming generally. So data types is data types. In JavaScript, in Python, in C Sharp, it is data type. All right. So we're going to learn data types. We're going to learn variables. We're going to learn the basics. Actually, we're going to learn the DOM and all that. So let's not get into that. We're going to learn actually the basics of programming generally, and then JavaScript specifically. Okay. And then we are at the end, we're going to at the end of this program, actually, you're going to have a site. All right. You're going to have something called portfolio, and we're going to have it deployed on a very, very fantastic service called Netlify, so that the world can see it. So all of this is what we are going to do in this program. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Maybe I don't know how to hype it well for you to actually be in the spirit, but I want you to open your mind and see that there is actually no limit. And like I said, for a lot of people, front end was just the beginning. So from front end, you can decide to be anything or go anywhere or do anything. All right. So actually, I think I've come to the end of my presentation. You ask your question at the end of this whole webinar. You get to ask your question. And what's next? All right. So you're going to be getting updates. You're going to be getting updates on the next steps. You're going to be getting updates on what is next, when we are going to have our first meeting, our first class, and all that. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for being here, and it has been awesome talking about this. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be expecting your questions after all these sessions are done at the right time. Okay, so I'll be handing over to the host to continue with the program. Thank you, guys.
All right, so right about now, we are almost coming to a close. We kudos to our mentors, kudos to the first speaker, Ibirunke Yakini, and also to the second speaker for tonight, Buchi on front end development. So I know you've got questions, and just as I said before, just type your question to the comment section. We'll be taking questions now. Won't take all questions anyways. So, but what you're going to do is this: if you want to ask a question based on software testing, you write software testing as a heading, and then you type your question, right? If it's on front end development, you write front end development, type your question. Now, if you don't state what your question is about, we will not take the question. All right, we won't take the question at all. So what we want to see there is software testing, and then you ask your question. You can number your question number one, this number two, that number two, and all of that. Then if it's on front end development, you want to see front end development, and then followed by your question. So any question that doesn't come in this format, we will not take it tonight. Yeah, so please, we are expecting to get the question. So right about now, I think on the Slack channel, you are being asked to mark attendance, and I would like us to pay attention to this. Now, when you go to the Let's Talk channel, you would see a post made by Ibirunke Yekini, and the post said you should use the thread section of that post to indicate your attendance by saying, I was present. Now, everybody using I was live on Let's Talk, just go and delete it. All right? You are making that channel to be messy. Just go to the post that is about the attendance. You click on the post, you are going to see replying in thread. Navigate there and reply. If you have posted anything on the Let's Talk channel on Slack, I can see I was live, I was live, I was live. I mean, the attendance is just telling you to indicate that you it's telling you to indicate that you are present. So you go to the thread of that post. Only 29 persons are present according to this attendance. So if you have done anything right there, just go there and delete whatever you type. Go to the thread section and indicate there that you were present. Anybody posting on the Let's Talk channel, I was live, is making the channel to be messy, and we don't want to see that. All right. All right, thank you very much. So we'll start taking the questions now.
Okay, so Gentle, just to add to what you
All
said,
right.
we can also see some people posting on introduction channel, then gallery channel, random channel. Please, everyone should delete it. Also, don't post on introduction, don't post on random, don't post in any of. I mean, I was just talking at the Miracle Adele case. We just did that again. So please delete it. Go to the Let's Talk channel. You are going to see a post from me, right? Ibiroke Yekini. And in that post, I said at here 03/05/2021 daily attendance. Use this thread to drop your attendance in the comment section. Don't litter the group with attendance by saying I am present. Use this thread. And I can see by now we have 42 people who have done that. So please, if you know you have written on the page, not in the thread, kindly delete it. I can see quite a whole number of people messages there. I can see Ogundipe John, Yewande, Nafisa, Agbemeyedi, Toluwabori. I can see Olasende, Ishak, Zayad, Ezewaka. I can see a whole lot of you. Till the very last person, I just did it right now when I'm speaking, Okoyemi, please delete it and use the thread. Scroll up that Let's Talk page. You will see where I made a post. Use the thread and delete. Another person should please delete it. And to also those that just, I mean, Chidi just did that right now, posted on introduction, and then Bolu Atife also posted on random channel. Please delete them. Only those who use the thread section are those we are marking. And by 8 p.m. today, if your attendance is not on the thread channel, you will just discover that you are no longer on the Slack by 9 p.m. tonight. Please follow the instruction. Thank you very much. You can continue, Gentle.
Yeah, so someone is trying to say they don't know thread. I mean, I just said a very simple thing. If you are using an Android device, click on the posts. So you're going to see options. And under the options that they drop down there, you see reply in thread. Okay, so that's you click there, you see a field to type in, and then you can type in and all of that. So there's nothing like they don't know how to use the thread. Please use the thread. Thank you so much. So we're taking the first question for tonight. We'll take just random few questions. We should be off here by 8 p.m. max. All right. Oh, great. All right, so the first question here is from, I don't even know what name that is, but it's directed to the software testing. And the question says, what's the difference between a software tester and alpha and beta testers? All right, so Ibirunke Yakini, that question is for you. What's the difference between software tester and alpha and beta testers? Great. All right.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know what Black NF is, but thank you for the question, Black NF. Okay, so when you're talking about software testers are not just these trained or skills testers that are working in the company. Software tester can be everybody. In fact, software tester is everybody. A developer is a tester. A real user is a tester. A tester, like me, myself, is a like you and I is a tester. The product manager is a tester. A UI UX person is a tester. Everybody has a sort of testing they do at their own faces. So everybody in the company is a tester, but mostly in an organization, they describe a software tester as somebody who is responsible for carrying out their testing of application for their development or for their developed products. Now, for an alpha and a beta tester, now alpha beta is mostly the type of, when you're talking about alpha testing to even start with, it's a type of acceptance testing that you're mostly is mostly performed to identify all the possible issues and bugs before releasing the final product to the user. Now, this I would say like they are internal testers. Okay, they are the one that are testing the application to make sure that yes, everything is fine before we give it to the customer. But on the other end, a better when you're talking about beta testing, that's actually that one is being performed by real users. They are the owner of the software application in a real environment, and it can be considered as a form of a user acceptance testing. So at this point, it's the customer, they're actually doing their own testing. So they are the beta testers, while those that are testing internally in the organization are the alpha testers. I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Oh, great. So thank you very much. So the next question, all right. So the next question is on front end development. And the question says, what's the difference between a front end developer and someone that uses WordPress? All right. So this question is for Buchi. What's the difference between a front end developer and someone that uses WordPress?
I don't know if Buchi is still here with us.
Oh, yeah, it's here.
Okay, please indicate if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. So, what is the difference between a front-end developer and a person that uses WordPress? It's a tricky one. So the question is, what is the person using WordPress for, right? Because WordPress is a content management system. That is at least that's the original use of WordPress. So as far as web design and development is concerned, now you can use WordPress for quickly building a website. You don't have to, how do I say this? Okay, you can get a template, right? So WordPress is more like using an already existing tool. Is like trying to build a website from a template. You have to take your design, you actually write the code. All right. So I wouldn't say front end developer or back end sorry, WordPress development and front end development. The difference would be in what the person actually does with WordPress. There are people that use WordPress mainly for blogging, right? There are people that use WordPress for WordPress templates and all that. So just know that WordPress is another tool for building websites mainly. But remember, when we talk about front end, we are not just talking about web application. We're also talking about mobile apps. We're also talking about desktop applications. All right. So yeah, they are not the same thing actually. They are two different things. So front end is much more general than the person that uses WordPress. WordPress is you are using a tool. WordPress is not the only thing. You have Wix, you have other things you can use to quickly prototype a website and build something, right? It's
All
not
right.
it's not front end. Sorry, I don't know if I answered that correctly. Like if I answered your question the way you understand it well. Yeah.
All right, so I think that's fair enough. So just to re-echo, basically when we talk about front end, we are talking about your ability to build the user interface mostly of the web page, but usually you should be able to write the code, all right? But when you're using a WordPress, it's like using a template. Roughly, it's like just using a template that has already been designed. It's just that you use it and then you tend to get something from it. All right. So the next question is JavaScript the only programming language being used? And where does Python language come into play? That's for the front end development.
Okay. Um yeah, so as far as front end is concerned, JavaScript is the only language you need to know. All right. You don't need to know any other programming language to do front end. Although there is something else in the JavaScript ecosystem called TypeScript, which is still we say it's a superset of JavaScript. So it is everything in JavaScript plus some other additions. All right. So let me not just make it complex. As if you want to do front end development, JavaScript is the only language you need to know to start with. Then Python doesn't come anywhere in front end development. Python is in the domain of back-end development and data and machine learning. All right. So
All
I hope
right.
that answers your question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much very fair. Please, if you have question, you drop, and once you put the question answered, just so we know you've been cleared. So the next question we do have is there really any particular difference between the front end and UI UX in bracket, mostly the CSS part?
Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of differences between front end and UI UX. Like I said initially, you can do UI UX without having to code, without having to write any code. All right. So it is a UI UX person that is a kind of like you are anxious. You are anxious is not the right word.
All right, so I can't hear Buchi from my end, so I just want to be sure if it is just me or if any other person is okay. Okay, all right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you now.
Okay, just to add to what he was saying, is there really any particular difference between front end and UI UX? Mostly the CSS part. I would say yes, there is a huge difference between when something is on paper and when it is actually being deployed to real life. Now, what that means is that you want to sew a clothes at a tailor, right? And then you draw what you want to design on a paper. You put color, you make it look like, oh, this is what I want to achieve on the long run. It's actually different from when you actually sew the clothes itself. So that's, I hope you get that. So the UI UX is the design, we are not using the actual, with CSS, you're actually using CSS code to bring about the beauty that has been designed. While on the UI UX part, you are actually giving a template using your, like when you are typing on MS Word, right? There is a color text that you're using there. Exactly. But at this point, you're not using a color text again. You're not clicking on that A icon to bring out the color card. But this time around, you're actually using code to get the color code and to be able to implement it. But I feel it'll be best person to explain it, but it's off air. But I don't know if that answers you in any way. Adeboye Michael.
All right. So, Adeboye Michael, the summary of this explanation is just this, that when you talk about front end, we're talking about the actual implementation, right? When you talk about the UI UX, both that will be associated with the design, UI UX design. In doing that, just design something that is still in the conceptual or logical framework. It is not yet been implemented. Like it's not real, but then you have to do what you do, but the front end actually does it. Okay. So the next question we have is on software, and I'm saying software and front by I think is it Shegun or something. He said, "Is it true that software testers enjoy stressing front developer?" Wow, amazing. I'm very sure that that's not true. All right.
That's never true in any way.
All right, that's not true. So the next question is on still on front end development. What's the difference between React JS and
Vue.js, Node.js, AngularJS.
yeah, Node.js and AngularJS and all of that? Well, I'll just tell you right now, if you are going to join the front end development, or as will be applicable, or the back end development, that will be dealt with. We can't start explaining of that in this webinar. All right. So the next question is on software testing. Is there any difference between software testing and quality assurance? Amazing. I like the question. I don't know why it's just fitting me anyway. But let Ibironke do justice to it. Is there any difference between software testing and quality assurance? Amazing.
Wow, that's quite a very good question. Thank you so much for asking, Dixon. These are questions. Okay, so yes, there is a difference between software testing and quality assurance. Of course, these days locally they call everybody a QA. Everybody said they are QA, but in real sense, they are not QA. They are actually testers. Now, quality assurance is talking about the process of making sure that that particular development processes follows the standard principles. All right, there is a guidance, there is a process at which you have to follow to be able to develop an application. There are principles to go by, there are processes that needs to be checked, there are some standards that needs to be met. Okay, so yes, that is what quality assurance does, making sure that those processes are intact when developing the application, and make sure that this application conforms to the standard of an application process. Why software testing is actually you exploring the app and looking out for the bug itself. All right, so that is like a very big basic differences between them. Thank you.
All right. Amazing. Let me try to rephrase what she had just said. Quality assurance is everything you do before implementation to ensure that the product is bug free. All right. So everything you do before implementation, prior to production, anything you do to ensure that the product is defect free is quality assurance. Now, after implementation, that means after production now, after the code has been written and something has been built, everything you now do to now test it to see if it works, and then there are bugs, they go to fix them. All of that is quality control. That's software testing. All right. Thank you very much. So the next question now would be, um, wow, where are we? Right.
Now, yeah,
So
the next question.
the next question is on front end development. Does front end development skill make one a full stack developer? Well, the answer is No. All right. So front end development skill doesn't make you a full stack developer. It makes you a front end developer. For you to be a full stack developer, you should have skills both in the front end and in the back end, right? So when you are skilled in front and back end, you are a full stack developer. All right, great. I don't know if Ibrunke, you have anything to add to that, but I mean that's the basic answer to that.
No, no,
So
no,
the
I
next,
don't have. Thank
all
you.
right. So the next question is on software testing. Does software tester become relevant now that there is introduction? Does the software tester become relevant now that there is introduction of automation testing, machine and doing the test? Amazing.
Ah, machine qua. I don't know. Is there any machine that is in testing? I would like to know one. Because when we mention automation testing, it has nothing to do with machine. There is no machine anywhere doing anything. When you talk about automation, you're actually talking about using of a tool to carry out your test. And who still write the test for the tool to be able to automate? It's still the human. So a software tester is relevant regardless of tools or not. Testing is test. There's nothing like manual developer or an automation developer. All right. So there's nothing like, there is manual testing. So it is automation test that makes person relevant. No. Automation testing is just you using a tool to carry out a process that you do repeatedly, which is just like one section out of 100 sections in software testing. So yes, one, there is no machine that does anything, not even test. It is a tool that you use as a software tester to do your work, and it is dependent on if it is even applicable at that time or not. Okay, so a tester is still relevant regardless. You can also, because you are driving
Yeah.
an automatic car, the car a car becomes a car stop being a car because there's an automatic car. A car is still a
All right.
car, whether
So
manual or automatic. Thank you.
just to make it to be more lay, okay, more of a layman explanation. The fact that there is a car doesn't mean, okay, probably you were trekking before and you feel, okay, once they bring car, you don't need to do anything again. I mean, all humans, I mean, car cannot just sit down and move, all right? Somebody needs to control it, all right? So that is just what we are trying to say. Automation test, a human being needs to control the test, okay? All right, so the next question says, any difference between software testing and bug bounty? Any difference between software testing and bug bounty? All right, and this question is from Dixon. Amazing.
Okay.
So this will be the
There is,
last question for tonight. All right.
yeah, we have really spent more than 30 minutes, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Okay, yes, there is a difference between software testing and bug bounty. I will tell you that bug bounty is you strictly just hunting for bugs and not necessarily trying to test the application to make sure that it conforms to the user's requirements. As a tester, you understand the user's requirements and you're making sure that what you are testing is against an expectation. But like a bug bounty, you're actually hunting for any issues anywhere that you can see anywhere in the course of using the app. So in real sense, you're not testing the app, you're just looking for issues, basically. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So with this, we come to the end of webinar day one. Amazing, amazing. And we still have like 57 people online. All right. So just as we wrap this up, if you're online, just put your favorite emoji right there because we're about to go, but we need to be sure that you guys are still following up and that you're still enjoying yourself. So put your favorite emoji on the comment section. So tomorrow we are going to start up by exactly 6 p.m. GMT plus one. That's West African Standard Time. So we'll start by 6 p.m. The it should be on the same link, but if there's any changes, you are going to know at least 2 hours to the program. So what I advise you to do is that try to check the Slack in the morning tomorrow, check in the afternoon, and try to check before 4 5 p.m. again tomorrow, just in case there are slight changes. You'd be the first one to know it. So pretty much here we are grateful to Testify Limited. We are grateful to Tech and Christ, right? Tech for Christ for putting up those, and we want to appreciate the speakers for today, Princess Ibirunke Yekini, who gave us a soft landing into the software testing world, and also Buchi, who has also given us a soft landing into the front end development world. So tomorrow you'll be looking out for amazing section as we have seasoned people who are coming to blow your mind tomorrow. Like your mind will be blown tomorrow. So what you need to do is go through the timetable, see the sessions we're going to be having tomorrow. And one thing we keep telling you is this: don't say, "Oh, I've made up my mind to do digital marketing, so I'm not going to join any webinar that has nothing to do with that." Now, do you know that this webinar is for free? So why would you want to waste a knowledge that you can actually get for free? So you have to join we are taking the attendance now. We want to be sure that you made an informed decision to any of the IT field that you're going to subscribe to by Friday. So for us to be sure is that we want to see you through all these webinars from the beginning to the end. And you have to participate actively. When we say drop stuff on the comment, just go there and drop. So the next thing you're going to do is try to follow, not try to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So once we start tomorrow, you will receive a notification, and if anything is going to drop here by tomorrow, you're also going to receive. We are not assuring anyone of a recording session of any of these sessions. We are not assuring anybody. So you have to be up, attend and actively participate. So also thanking all the hosts, the co-hosts that are working at the back end. Now for this program, I am the front end person. So we have people working at the back end. We have Marvelous Ovo, who is working at the back end. I think by tomorrow she's going to be here. And then we also have Rabia Dopeyemi, who is also working at the back end. So by tomorrow, I will just have to go to the back end. This is amazing. All right. So take good care of yourself. Join back by tomorrow, exactly 6 p.m. on this channel, and we're going to be here to blow your mind again. So good night, everyone. Have an amazing time. Thank you.